All right, everybody, welcome. So beautiful. So today actually is May 1st in Aotearoa in New Zealand. And there's a couple of us on the call, I believe, from New Zealand. So we're already in Beltane, which is that rebirth. It's the time of the year where fertility and the union between masculine and feminine merge. And it's the celebration of new life, of spring. Although in this hemisphere, we're going into fall, we're already in it very deeply. So it's the time between the solstices, the winter and the summer. So we're right in that time, right where the equinox is that moment of new beginnings. We've passed that beautiful time of equinox and now we're moving ahead. And it's really the time of fertility. And what does that mean in ourselves? What are we birthing inside of ourselves? What are we tending inside of ourselves? So it's a beautiful time. So the ones that are on the call from New Zealand here in Australia, we're in that portal. And you are also in it with us. It's these beautiful 3 days of gestating in Beltane. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, just Google it, because May 1st is the festival of Beltane. So we're in that moment in time together. And we've definitely been moving through quite a dark night on so many levels, right? So I so deeply welcome you, those who I have not yet met in person. There are a few of you, I believe, and if you are new to me and to who I am Sarah, and I'm the founder of Somatic Sanctuary. As a somatic experiencing practitioner, a cranial psychotherapist, and a continuum teacher and a birth doula, birth assistant, I really felt in all the years that I was traveling, studying with these incredible teachers, that I had this vision of creating a space that would bring people together to heal these imprints in a collective community where the space that we were in and the people that would come would be a family that would give us an opportunity to repattern our early imprinting. And the ultimate intention for me was embodying our soul. And what that really means is really fully arriving here on earth. All of our gifts, all of our light, all of our love. And most of us, in the way it's been generation after generation in these last centuries, have met times where pain and trauma and war have affected this powerful potency of that which we are, which is love. So we're still that. It's just a process of taking time to remember together. Because when we remember all alone on our yoga mat, it is true that the witness is the divine, but when we're together in a community, we can actually hold each other in a process of becoming. And when we embody, the embodiment is a journey of becoming. I'm looking into the peephole. Does that work? Do you feel like I'm looking at you? Because it feels funny to me to look into a peephole. I want to look into a face, but I'm told to look into the peephole is looking into you. So let me know. It's kind of like that, when the divine looks into the peephole into us, we're being seen. So there's something about how are we landing on earth at this time when the collective, including us, are experiencing moments of fear, of unknown, of celebration perhaps because there's new beginnings happening, and also of grief. And I want to touch in on this truth of grief, of what might be coming up in a time when change is happening, and to not override the process of the heart, to not override the process of the heart. Because it's the heart that guides the way forward. It's the heart that was with us from the 4th week in being in utero, that pulse has been with us. And that pulse is literally what brought forth the impulse to incarnate. And for each of us, as we move forward in a process of unknown territory at this time on earth, what are we doing? Where are we going? Who are we becoming? It's the heart and instead of the mother who is holding us in utero, it's the mother who is holding us on earth that is going to be supporting us to move forward. And that's everyone. And I want to create a space where we're able to drop down and slow down enough to listen to the impulse to move and the impulse to birth through an original intention and the pace of our soul. So instead of the pace of trauma, which all of us have, where the fear and the anxiety starts to pull us forward of trying to figure things out, we're going to drop down and in and listen to that which is already gifting us life as the messenger of the evolutionary next step. And that's in you, and you, and you, and you, and me. So truly no teacher is outside of us. It's all of us together. And if somebody is unmuted, I'm going to mute you. Okay, thank you. Hi, sister, I see you. Welcome, beauty. Okay, so let's take some time to just settle in. I know those of you might need to jump off the call in that hour. That's totally fine. You receive what you can and what you choose, and then you just drop off whenever you want, okay? You're welcome to be here for all of it, any of it. There will be a time where at the end of the meditation, I'll ask if somebody wants to work with me individually. This is working together in a somatic way, and there are principles that I follow, principles of slowing down, the pause. In that pause, I will sometimes pause you, meaning it could feel like I'm interrupting you as you're sharing, but it's intentional, so to integrate that which is being shared, to settle and integrate the experience that's arising, for it to sequence through instead of loop. Because when things are looping, that's the process of evolution returning back into itself instead of moving forward and becoming anew. You know, the process of embryology means we die every moment to who we were to become who we are becoming. The egg dies to herself. The sperm dies to himself. The zygote, the fertilized egg at conception, dies to oneself. So that means in our soma, there is a felt sense of knowing what it's like to surrender to dying again and again and again to become. And with the intelligence of the embryo within, the embryo, if we were held in love and respect and honor, the embryo got to marinate in a field of the divine to move forward in that blossoming that was happening intrinsically. And the fear wasn't there. The natural evolution of becoming in the pace of soul soul into soma, movement of spiralic water that formed us, informing a download of cosmic intelligence into the flesh body. And we spent this 9 months marinating in this intelligence. And we're still inside of this intelligence. The same breath that brought us here on earth will take us out, but it'll continue this gestational, embryological informing. So that which is unseen gathers and lands down into form, continues to happen on earth. So we're going to continue to offer ourselves in these somatic meditations, offer ourselves to this divine intelligence that is always present. And when we choose again and again and again to trust, I am being informed. My soma is downloading my soul moment to moment to moment to become who I am. Every moment. This is actually the elixir of eternal life. Our body might be aging, no doubt. But when we get to take a drink of the refreshment of life, and we give ourselves the time every day to receive this intelligence and let our cells expand and drink it in, the process of allowing the uptake of our light as soul truly becomes a prayer as we live our life. We don't start closing down in fear in the circumstances outside of us. We open to a curiosity. It's like we're listening. What does it mean to be human? Because I actually don't know, and most likely none of us know. But the mystery knows, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And what does it mean if I were to invoke and lean into that mystery that is guiding my very cells as I live? What is possible? So we're going to take some time every time we do a somatic satsang, and you get the recording so you can do the meditations, or once it's in you, it's already in you, it's in the embryonic intelligence. It's just tapping in and sensing into that tidal rhythm that we played with last week. And that breath of life, that's the true health inside of our system. So we're going to take some time just now, maybe 15, 20 minutes, just to come in together into shared coherence, co-regulation, but also in the co-regulation, we're supporting ourselves individually to self-regulate so that these moments of offering and being in our group is offering us moments when we're alone to self-regulate, when the anxiety and the fear comes up. Okay, so I'm just going to check, make sure you're all muted. And I'll just invite you to come into either a seated vertical position, or if you want to lie down, you can lie down. And just starting to tend to the sense of earth, and ground, and connection to your seat, your base of support, either the back of your pelvis or your sit bones as you sit erect. Just tuning into how the earth is holding all of us here equally. Each one of us that in this moment chose to come into your own somatic sanctuary, the sanctuary of your soma, your body. Not trying to change or fix anything, but meeting what is already here. Meeting the breath as the breath breathes us. Meeting the weight of the bones as the bones yield down into the earth. Really sensing that, sensing into how the living, breathing, presence-filled bones are yielding down into the earth. And notice what happens to breath when we do that. Earth, my body, earth. Just sensing down into the low belly. The low belly, the womb, the hara space, the lower dantian. Not changing breath here, but sensing how breath is breathing within the low belly. Sensing into how simply by residing inside the breath of the low belly, you start to take up residency in your own seat. Starting to feel how there's this natural wave, this breath of life that organizes around our spine and our central channel. There's this natural uprising life force energy that rises up the spine. It's not just the spine, it's the whole mid-space, the central channel of you. Just sensing into that. In biodynamic work, we call this the fountain spray. This fountain spray of life force that collects at the base of the spine. There's potency that collects life force. And it's this natural wave-like impulse that rises up, fills up, and effervescently overflows, opens, and flows around the body. It's that beautiful in quantum physics, there's that toroidal field around the body. It's just sensing into this beautiful filling up from the base, rising up, tuning into how your own soul has a pace for this river of love that is moving through you as you. We can say there's this vertebral column of a spine. We can speak to the gut tube, the mouth to anus that I've spoken to. All of these midline structures. We can speak to this energetic midline, this effervescent, like particles of cosmic champagne, we can even call it. This light, photonic, rich effervescence that is unending in its sourcing, offering us life force and sustenance. Can you sense into that? It's beyond your breath. It has a breath to it. It has an inhalation phase and an exhalation phase. But let's just call it the miraculous right now. Sensing into this miraculous phase of an effervescent life force that is being gifted to us. That actually offers us eternal life. Letting the crown of the head soften a little. Because here in this beautiful crown, just like in babies, those fontanelles, those beautiful cranial bones, they can soften and become more fluid in their structure. Living, breathing bones. Fluid. Our bones are actually made of fluid. They're like honeycomb when you go into them and when you see them. Honeycomb. Filled with fluid. And that fluid is filled with photonic light particles. So letting this beautiful cranium receive the light of the soul that you are. I don't need to tell you how. You already have it. Just breathe it, feel it. Letting the cranial bones soften to receive and open even more to the light that is being gifted. And notice the quality of the light, the stillness of the light. Notice how this fountain spray of energetic sustenance fills us and radiates around us. And as we track this beautiful midline of life force, little presence in the three centers, the low belly, the heart, the cranium, center of the head. Simply breathing, letting the breath breathe you. Perhaps you can open your palms. Let your palms face up, just to continue to receive and bathe in the river of holiness that is you. And just check in here, is this light ever taken away? Ask, really ask. Check in. If I am 75% ocean within, saline type water, liquid crystalline matrix of photonic light particles, and I'm being bathed in a fountain spray of endless potency, light photonic rich, endless life force. In the moments when we forget, just right now, remind ourselves, really check in, is this light ever taken away? I breathe in my low belly, and I let my low belly just receive the light of my soul. I settle inside my low belly. I let my low belly soften into the receptivity of the light that I am. I let my heart center breathe life, fill from within, and expand without not doing, not making it happen. Sensing into how it naturally is always being given to us. I breathe into my heart center, and I receive the light of my soul in my heart. And I soften even more my cranial structure, my face, my jaw. My eyes soften down and in. I let those beautiful fontanelles soften to receive the light that is here. Nothing you need to do. Just letting the breath breathe you as you. Settling down into the contact of the earth again. Let the earth know I'm here. The vessel of my body is a bridge of the light that I am on earth. I am here. Simply being and being breathed by the light of my soul. Let the heart soften and open. Let the heart soften. If you're laying down, let it soften and rest down into the earth. Feeling the backing of the earth holding you. If you're sitting, letting your midline, your spine, letting that heart soften back down into the support and structure of the spine. Feel the support that is here. Feeling the support of the pelvic floor holding this expanded heart down into the earth. Down below our seat, feeling the sense of our body being held by the earth. 70 trillion cells reminded of the light that we are. And perhaps if this calls to you, You know, they say in heart coherence, when we just offer an appreciation within the heart space entrains our organs and all of our systems. So let's just invite these 70 trillion cells. Just make an offering of a word. May they receive a word. What is that word for you? And if it's love or thank you, gratitude, light, let 70 trillion cells drink that up. Land it down into the bones and the weight of the bones on earth. 75% of us made of fluid. Let us imprint this fluid with this deep appreciation, this word that comes. Taking some time in your own time to bring a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. And letting yourself feel the heartbeat. This coherent, regulated heartbeat. And the hands and the face grew over our hearts. So just notice this beautiful heart-hand connection, the self-embrace of our hand touching the heart, and the heart receiving the touch of our hand. With the hand on the low belly, let that heart feel the base of support below you in the low belly, pelvic floor. We are not just walking hearts vulnerable in this life. These hearts come with a backbone of our spine. They come with a base of our pelvic floor and heart roots down our legs, all throughout the body. But feel the roots of the cardiac vessels down the legs and the weight of the bones into the earth. We have been given these bodies to tend to and to walk us through this life at this time. And we are living miraculous flesh of soul and soma. So taking some time as you squeeze down your legs, feeling the flesh receive the squeeze of your hands. We've played a bit with the light of our soul, so really feel that squeeze, feel the bones and the flesh, the strength of your legs. Maybe even squeezing your haunches, your butt. Squeeze, feel the weight of you that has you here. Maybe little movements of like you could spiral on the earth with your seat on the earth. Spiraling the pelvis a little. Letting a little undulatory movement of the spine come online. Letting your head turn from side to side. Those of you who have not been with me before, I always have us turn our head from side to side. Eyes closed. This lets the orienting response come online. Letting the amygdala in our brain know we are safe. Helps us to orient our inside world with the outer, this sacred boundary. Turning the head from right to left, left to right, in your own time, in your own way. Slowly and gently opening the eyes, just to receive the room. Maybe looking down at the floor first. Just letting the room come in. So as we bridge this inner world to the outer, this is important. We can do this in our mornings when we get out of bed or before we get out of bed. Is to tend to the senses. What am I seeing? Receiving the room with your eyesight. The taste of the mouth. What am I tasting? The feeling of touch of my hands on my clothes or my lap. Letting yourself feel touch. Taking a breath and noticing, what am I smelling? The smells in the room. What am I hearing? Sound of my voice. The sounds of the outside. Letting the senses, these are awakening the perceptual field to help us orient to our present time. Just sensing into your arrival here in this group with us. And you can slowly, gently in your own time just start to move and come back to our group. Doing your best to stay with the sense of the slowing down rhythm, the effervescent fountain spray of life that is always here. Sense of midline, base, heart, coherence, and then practicing how we transition from inner to outer and relating. Guess what? This is birth. We're in this beautiful field of marinating in an ocean of protection in utero. And then we're transitioning to an outer world. And hopefully, if it's done non-traumatically, we get an opportunity to come into life in a way that's safe and held, and that honors our pace. So with every satsang or every continuum class or every time you wake up in the morning, every meditation you do, the transition is as important as the process.